So guys, welcome back. Another Beers and Stories. I am here with the very beautiful and very talented Samantha Doffo. We're here at Doffo Winery. Is it Moto Doffo or Doffo Wines?
It's Doffo Winery.
Doffo Winery, which if you have the chance, I highly recommend checking out. I'm pretty sure this is what heaven looks like. There's motorcycles and wine everywhere, and the view out the window is incredible.
Heaven for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're not suffering too bad here, Samantha. So, but for those 10 or 12 people that do watch the show on occasion, can you catch us up? Just give us the cliff notes of how Moto Doffo came to be.
Sure. So, going back to Doffo Winery, because Moto Doffo is the line of wines and then some of the merchandise, apparel and such. But the winery itself was started by my father about 20 years ago. Put in the vineyard that you see in front of us, which makes this wine that we're drinking right here, the Mistura, which is a 60-40 Cab Syrah.
Really good, by the way.
He had a life, turn of events, came out to relax, make wine, restore motorcycles, and the rest is history, as people are curious. Yeah. And my dad's an entrepreneur, and
that's incredible.
And, an immigrant, and he's a hustler.
And he bought this place, right?
He bought the land. It had the house. Everything else developed as the winery developed.
Oh man, it's a first question. I mean, tell me about business and family, right? I know developing that can be.
I think that he didn't set out to have a business. It sort of happened, and then as things progressed, we all were offered an opportunity to jump on board, and why not? It's a legacy. So,
sure. And now you get to work with your family.
Now I get to work with the family.
For the good and the bad, huh?
We're pretty interesting, because we actually have a lot more good than bad.
That's awesome. Because I know family businesses can be tough sometimes.
Yeah, but we love each other.
I know.
We go on vacation together.
That's incredible.
It's actually fun to be able to take an afternoon lunch and walk the property with my siblings and have our business meeting as we just walk together and laugh, and it obviously there's always side jokes, but of course it makes it pretty it motivates you, I think.
Absolutely. What an incredible opportunity. So were you involved at all? You said your dad bought the place in '97, right? And now it's we're here
2019.
It's 2019. My God, It's been a little bit. So you weren't involved in the development at all? It was interesting. 97, he buys the property. This is my second year in college at that point. So it was I'd come home and he would save grapes in buckets that he had harvested and let me come and stomp on them so that I would participate in a 5-gallon bucket. And you're stomping with your feet? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Just at the beginning wine stages. So his original wine was made in Orange County, backyard. And, the vines themselves, you put in 97. So really 02 was the first vintage that we released of the Mistura.
Oh, so it takes that long for the vines to grow
to
and start to produce.
And have decent fruit, right.
Wow.
So, no, I wasn't involved in the beginning.
I had to come along for the fun stuff?
Well, I had to do my own thing for a while. I did come back in the beginning of 2005, 2006, when things were kind of just getting going after a period of development and transition in terms of whether or not we were going to be a legitimate winery. We did kind of start as this, it was licensed in certain ways, but not everything. And so Dad was like, he's like, we'll just see what happens. And we were fortunate enough to, deal with the county and then
tell me about
and
that.
Then open again.
So, and that's, I've heard a lot of these, I've got caught not pulling building permits. I don't know. It's the same thing.
Same thing. We don't have all the permits for.
Yeah, you say, I'm very sorry, and they usually charge you some money, and life goes on.
And keep going.
Yeah,
right.
I'm guessing it was kind of like that.
It's very similar. Very similar with the development of, the remaining part of the property, and just to make sure that we were, in compliance to legitimately have a tasting room and, have the handicap access bathrooms and the parking lot and.
Oh my God! So were you, and you were involved in that stuff, huh?
I was here for a lot of the, what are they called? The town hall meetings.
Oh wow! Tell me about those.
Well, it was interesting because there was a lot of pros and cons. Some of the people that lived here obviously were kind of in this unique space where we have residential behind us, and and wine country 15 years ago wasn't as developed, and so I think there was a little bit of that hesitation of this new guy.
Yeah,
rebel.
What's he gonna
what
do?
Is he doing?
Oh my God, he rides a motorcycle. That sort of thing.
Just a lot of stuff, and and I think that on the contrary, he did have a lot of support, and so it was an interesting mix of people, coming up to bat for us, and those that were like, no way, you shouldn't exist. And so,
wow. So were you actually present at these meetings?
I was present at some of them, yeah.
Because I've been to some.
They get heated.
They do.
And people are angry.
They are. It's like, we just want to make you wine.
Yeah,
and it's okay.
We just want to have a little business.
Yeah.
We're not going to affect you. But
wow.
I understand. They're up the street. They don't want people driving up the street. And so some signs up and then Chapin opened across the street, and it kind of, slowly and surely things calmed down, and it's been a blessing.
That's fantastic.
We exist.
Yeah, but you had to get through those hurdles.
We had to get through those hurdles,
and it's not easy. I had a conversation a couple of days ago in a very different place from this. This is over in East LA, but the guy Diego was talking about things are going to come up. You have this plan, and what was the old line? I guess it was Mike Tyson, or like everyone has a plan till they get punched in the mouth.
Totally.
Type thing.
Totally.
And we were talking a lot about that. It seems that's everywhere. I mean, this place to me looks like paradise, but you guys had to put it together.
Yeah.
It didn't just.
Yeah.
It doesn't just grow out of the ground.
Now we got to keep it going.
I mean, from what I've seen, the first time I came here, you guys seem to be doing pretty darn well. There was line in the tasting room, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, I think. Well, you came on a weekend. Obviously,
this is true.
Today is Wednesday, and there's just us.
Yeah, a lot less traffic.
A lot less traffic.
For sure.
And I think that that's a blessing of our location. We are surrounded by 66 million people.
That's true.
That are within an hour and a half. So
Los Angeles isn't far.
It makes Temecula an interesting destination for
Absolutely.
even the snowbirds that go to Palm Springs for those months, and so it's nice. I don't think the other wine countries have that accessibility.
You probably get some from San Diego as well, right?
We do. We get San Diego, Orange County, LA, Riverside, San Bernardino.
Okay, so the whole 9 yards. So was that in the plan when you guys opened? Like, hey, this place is beautiful and we can get all these people?
No,
not at all.
It was not even one of those like, okay, we're gonna exploit the shit out of it. That was not at all the plan.
Really? It was like, let's
just make some wine and see what happens. And if it turns into this cool thing where, who knew? Like, none of us planned to be able to not work for the man and come work for ourselves.
Really?
Yeah.
So there had to be a time when it started to become apparent. It's like, okay, this is going to be a thing.
This is going to be a thing.
We've got some decisions to make.
I think in 2006 is that time when our ability to reopen, we kind of go through the motions of everything the county wants, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're in business.
Yeah.
So you have these kind of struggling good years at the beginning where it's like, okay, we're doing this, and then all of a sudden it sinks into like, oh, this is bigger than we thought, and now we gotta buckle down and really look at it as like an opportunity.
Wow.
And so I think 2009 is when my brother took over the winemaking.
Okay.
And it sort of just started to evolve into a different monster, if you will. It's a beautiful monster.
Yeah, it is. Oh, it is a very beautiful monster you have here.
And then the last, so this would be 2019 is year 3 of us going into running the business without our dad as an active member. He's our, chairman of the board. Yeah,
retirement in place, if you will.
Exactly.
Good for Dad.
Lives across the street, so very involved. His palate is still
Love
on
it.
point. He's still educating us about wines.
Good for him. And so, where did your dad learn about winemaking?
He learned from an uncle in Italy in the Piemonte region.
Okay. Wow.
He was the cousin of my grandmother, so his mom's cousin.
Okay.
So just a distant relative that. My dad's one of those. That's where we got our travel bug.
Yeah.
He's looking we have long lost family. I'm going to go find them.
Yeah. Let's go to Italy and see what they're doing. I love it.
And that he happened. If you go into the tasting room, you'll see a photo of the man, but his name is Carlo.
Okay.
And he went in, and he was making wine in the basement. And so my dad was like, okay,
like the Italian moonshine.
The Italian moonshine.
Yeah. God, I love it.
Grappa.
Oh, I get a headache just thinking about that stuff.
So that sort of just provoked, that passion of, I want to make wine. I mean, he's always been like, he made beer, he makes prosciutto, he makes salami, he loves to cook. Like it just kind of was next thing. Right.
Yeah. Good for him.
And while wrenching. So.
Yeah. And so, and ask you about that, I think you and I might have touched on this. So he had another business of some type, right? A car shop?
Right, an auto body shop in Orange County.
In Orange County.
Yeah.
Wow.
For 30 some odd years.
So fixing fenders.
Yeah.
And then we're making wine. That's incredible.
Car shop gave him a little bit of a heart attack and,
and
the stress. And, and then the wine, gave
Orange
him a new
County
opportunity.
That's incredible.
Well, yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And what a complete change of pace,
Totally.
We have.
And
I've been to Orange County. It's it's a hustle and bustle type place, and I can imagine. So, how long did he have the car shop for?
So he started in Orange County. I want to say the late 70s, early 80s.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So we were there
during the real boom years.
Through the boom years, and it wasn't. Obviously, it was always hustle and bustle, but it wasn't what it is today. Now I drive in Orange County and I'm like, wow. When I was in high school, I would still drive through orange groves.
Get out.
And that was the late 90s, mid 90s, 95 is when I graduated.
We didn't see an orange grove until we turned the corner right there.
Right.
And we drove 2 hours.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
Wow.
So it was kind of when it hit fast.
Yeah.
And my mom actually moved out to the Inland Empire early 90s, and we all thought she was nuts. We were like, what are you doing? She's like, trust me, it's gonna boom there.
Wow.
And we were like, what, the 91?
Yeah, where's the 91? Can't count that high. No. Yeah. And now look at it.
It's like a little gem out here.
Yeah, absolutely. So your dad got this in 97.
97.
Oh, that is too cool. So he had obviously just decided he didn't want to deal with the stress anymore, and
I think it was that somewhat of a forced and retirement where he was just like, you know what, it's either I'm gonna die or I'm gonna keep working my ass off, and and so he came out here and found that peace, and he still maintained a little bit of the shop at that point. My brother was still quite young, and so it just he couldn't abandon everything,
of course,
so it was just a weekend thing, and it took off. My brother went to college and graduated and did not work for my father. He just always came as helped in the farm, learned to make wine. Like he's been making wine since he was 10.
Wow.
So
really that is truly a family legacy.
It was a family legacy. Absolutely. Wow. And it wasn't like, I'm going to make wine and have a business. It was like, let's just make wine so everyone can have our wine at Christmas.
Absolutely. And now it evolved to here. Wow.
And then in the last 3 years, we've taken Moto Doffo, which was essentially, when my dad started restorations 20 some odd years ago, it was Moto Doffo, which basically meant Doffo's motorcycle.
Yeah. What is the business? It's my motorcycle.
Yeah.
It's the best.
It's the best. It's my collection. And,
oh my goodness.
And so, he just made, little rinky-dink stickers that we all thought were so cool,
That's awesome.
Argentina flag. I think some of the motorcycles out there might have some of the original Moto Doffo stickers. And it just started like that. And then all of a sudden he was getting more bikes because he'd go to South America or, find stuff, or people would give him stuff to restore. And the collection grew and grew, and then.
So this was the iteration of his shop, right? So he had a car shop, and they just fixed cars. Obviously, nuts and bolts are nuts and bolts, right?
Yeah, I mean it's more like chassis and fenders. And
sure, paint and all that kind of stuff. But that's obviously it gave him a huge leg up when he wanted. To
restore.
All these bikes he restored.
As a kid in Argentina, there was the mode of transportation when he was little until he was about 9 was a horse-drawn carriage. So and not a cool one. It was 2 wheels and a horse. So a lot of people died.
Yeah, that sounds really risky. No,
and it was like that first motorcycle, which was a Vicentina, and we have a Vicentina out there.
That blue one.
The blue one. Wow. So his uncle at the time. So my great uncle lived with them. He was single, and he bought a motorcycle to take my uncle to high school in town because they lived on the farm.
Wow.
And that was where his passion. He was 9. And he was like, "Look at that."
He was 9 in motorcycling.
Well, no, my dad fell in love at that age.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. And so that's where his, and he started wrenching early on, and that was his thing. So the body shop was almost like a random, you know, he knew cars, he loved cars, and, you know, but the motorcycles are really where his true love and passion is at.
I can understand that.
But yeah, the shop facilitated a lot of tank painting and, you know, frames. And,
hey, who wants a little extra work this weekend?
Some part ordering maybe.
Yeah, a couple extra parts showed up on the truck. Funny how that works. So
it worked out.
Clearly
so
it did.
Now it's been really interesting. We've been really accepted by a lot of the motorcycle industry folks, and you know, we've had the pleasure of making some really cool private label wines for
amazing. Tell me about this one right here, the Super Tinto.
The Super Tinto.
Yeah, it's got some really beautiful artwork on the front. What's going on there?
So this is the new one just released here in January.
Can I try some?
Absolutely.
All right. Don't tell me twice.
Well, you can give me some too.
Absolutely.
So this is a Malbec, Cab, and Zinfandel. And so the Moto Doffo line is 3 different wines that release every 4 months. And it's dedicated to the collection. So all of the labels, are. This is actually this motorcycle behind us.
Oh, here. Gilera.
The Gilera.
Gilera. Wow.
Yeah.
Tell me about that one.
I don't know much about it.
It likes wine too.
It likes wine. It's
okay.
Okay. So, if you know, I think that's the one that's in the photo. Pretty sure it's in the photo in the tasting room. You can see my brother and his wife, his then fiance. They did a photo shoot for engagement photos, and there's a poster, a Gilera advertisement from back in the day, and they recreated it. So
do you know where they were made? Gileras? Is that Italian?
Italian.
Okay. Wow. Maybe. Sure. I mean, I don't know the difference. Yeah,
good.
Lie to me. It's okay.
I don't know.
Wow.
Hey.
Yeah, it's certainly beautiful. And they restored that one as well?
My dad restored it, yeah.
Wow. He's I mean, just a multi-talented dude. Huh?
I wish he was here today.
Yeah, I would love to meet the guy. So and someone did this artwork?
So Makoto Endo from New York, and he does a lot of motorcycle pieces, but I think I don't know, you took away the little magazine, but he literally does it with ink and chopsticks. It's really cool.
Get out.
So if there's some YouTube videos of him doing the work.
I'll be sure to throw a link down.
But so this is him painting here.
Wow.
So we did an event, one of the GP races. He was out here just painting.
Oh, kidding.
During the GP race.
Unbelievable. No.
It was just a fun event.
What a cool iteration. I mean, you're literally talking about something bad, right? So Dad had a heart attack, which is obviously awful and stressful and scary and all that. And I mean, look at what's come out of it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And it's pretty incredible that you guys,
It is. I think sometimes he's like, gets a little nervous, like, oh my gosh, you guys are taking this. And
created a monster. Uh-oh.
But I think, you know, deep down, he really appreciates the seriousness that it know, takes. And then also there's the fun that we try to have with it, because we do have our family meetings where it's like intense, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right, let's all have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Calm down and giggle about it.
Yeah.
So,
no, and that's
cool.
I've heard that from other family businesses as well. You know, I mean, it's like anything else. There's ups and downs, and
except for we get asado at the end.
That helps. Yeah, that helps a lot.
Not bad.
Oh my goodness, very cool. Well, that is an absolutely amazing story. Oh.
Yeah, we're looking forward to what's to come. I think that
I love it.
We'd like to see, different areas of reach, obviously, of the wine. Particularly, I think the Moto Doffo.
How does all that work? I don't know a lot about the wine business.
So we don't actually, we don't know anything about the wine business either.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
You could have fooled me, but okay.
Salud.
Yeah.
So cheers to that.
Yeah, right? Here's to not knowing and just doing. So.
No, the distribution is a whole nother monster, and obviously we're not able to do those large massive distributions in supermarkets. I think that we are very concerned with the product that we put out there and always wanting to put forth the best. A lot of the wine, I feel like all of us are so invested with our heart that our wine, I think, translates that to a lot of people.
Okay.
I'm gonna get all spiritual.
Go do what you need. I mean, listen, this stuff will make you spiritual in a hurry.
It does, so. But I feel like a lot of people really appreciate what we're putting out, and so they're very supportive. And I think that if we can not necessarily get to the next level, but at least reach a few more, we'd be happy with it.
Does that mean, you're sending wine to like boutique stores in other places and they sell it to their customers?
Right. Okay. Absolutely. Gotcha. Or, we come out to a wine bar and do like a one night where people get to introduce, we get to introduce ourselves and introduce our wine, and then.
Oh, very cool.
So I'm, Damien and I have done, we did a stint in Chicago for about 5 days where we got to do a private dinner at a hunting lodge and did 3 nights of winemaker dinners where they paired all the food to our wine. And Dad has a good friend who has a nice collection himself, so we didn't have to take some bikes. We got to borrow some and legitimately set them up there to show, also that side of ourselves. And so it was really interesting. And so that model of being able to get out there and really present the wines, I think kind of gives people a different experience in terms of, hey, look, there's this cool boutique winery that's doing something different.
And it puts a person behind the product, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm assuming this is your job to go out and sell things?
Yeah.
What are the odds?
It's fun.
I'll bet it is. Bat your eyelashes and get some products sold. So did you just kind of fall into that role, or did Dad say, hey, I need you to sell wine, or how did...
Yeah, so I was working up in Northern California and doing nonprofit work, and and he was like, okay, well, we need help. The business is growing. He's like, it's an opportunity for you to come in and kind of see where you fit. And so, you have to start from the bottom. You don't get handed anything. Of course.
Yeah.
So,
And it was that way. They're like, come in and put your time in.
Put your time in.
Wow.
So tasting room, you got to clean the bathrooms. You need to, just do what it takes to prove that you're here to stay.
Yeah. Yeah. I know the feeling. I sat down and talked to a friend of mine and was telling him that, I had the day after Christmas this past year, I just crossed a personal milestone for me in the real estate business.
Nice.
The day it was good. It felt good. The day after Christmas, there was a backup in the sewer main. These apartments that I just bought. Delightful. And of course, it's the morning after Christmas. It's 7 a.m. And you think the plumber's answering the phone? No. So you handle it. Was it fun? No, not at all. And I mean, we're not going to tell that story here. It's been told other places, but it is. It's one of those where you just, like you said, you got to clean the bathrooms. You got to clean the bathrooms.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So it's been it's definitely been a growth. It wasn't, where it's like I can come in and do everything. So it's, for me personally, I've had to self-examine a lot.
I know the feeling.
No. And you gotta figure out where your strengths are. And I think, especially because selling wine is, it's personal. At the end of the day, people have an emotional reaction to the label, to what they taste, to what they experience with the person selling the wine. And so it's, it's not like people come in and you're like, here you go.
Yeah, give me
$60.
Card,
thanks.
please.
Yeah, bye.
Sure.
And, and I've had my share of not so good experiences, and
I believe that.
And now with the way social media is, and, so you have to learn a lot the hard way.
Yeah, the school of hard knocks.
For
it's
sure.
a tough teacher.
Especially in this, it's competitive in the Valley, but it's not. It's like there's enough for everybody, but at the same time, you still got to stand out. You still got to make your name. You still got to figure out what's going to draw people to our winery. What sets us apart.
We probably passed 25 of them on the way here.
Absolutely.
I mean, I knew there was a room full of motorcycles, so I'm not stopping there.
Right.
And I get to talk to you. But no, I think that's true, is that you can't, in anything, you can't lose your competitive edge, whatever that might be.
Right. Right. And so I think that now, as we go into it with how quickly things change, you have to always be like on the up and up. Oh, what's going on now? How do I take it a step further? And so
absolutely,
it's nice that we have our old world heritage that we love and hold on to, and then we're looking at like, okay, what new things can we do? How do we set ourselves apart? And we always have that anchor. Dad is our anchor. Dad's like, don't forget who we really are.
Yeah.
Don't always, I don't care all that nonsense. Yeah. At the end of the day, we make wine. Yeah. And so remember that. Like, you could do motorcycle everything. we make wine.
Yeah. We hang those on the wall.
Yeah.
Because, Dad ran out of garage space.
Right,
so
right.
we had
Just
to build
a
a
little
winery.
bit. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So it's, it's that. And it's beautiful, as we see, my sister and I are like excited because it seems like more and more women are riding and, and the trend is definitely, there and but we don't want to be like, oh yeah, have a glass of wine, go riding. No.
Yeah, no. Ride to us, then drink some wine, and then Uber home.
Yeah,
we'll hang your bike on the wall.
Right. Right.
You tried that.
Your bike.
You tried that with me. I'm still riding that thing. So
not much longer, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's Italian. It could last another 10 years. It could break tomorrow, right? We don't know. But yeah, no, who knows? Maybe one day I'll come and hang
you'll
on.
see it on the wall. It could be in my garage.
Where is it? It's still in the shop?
It depends on who pays for it, It's like, is it a winery purchase or personal?
Exactly. No.
Did you see the new one? Did you see the new monster in the magazines?
I did see the new one. They're mean. They just keep coming out with beautiful new bikes.
I know.
It makes me try not to work too hard, and they're making it very difficult.
Right.
So, but yeah, and then I wanted to touch on that a little bit. Like with your riding thing, it seems I was looking at some other stuff. You guys do a lot of stuff together as a family, right? So there's the vintage racing. I don't know a ton about that. That's not really your thing.
It's not.
That's boys being boys, or are you in on that too?
Well, I'm in on it, but my brother and my dad, it was kind of their thing.
Okay.
And then my sister and I were like, well, how come we don't get to race? Like, we like to ride.
Okay.
And, and it was, at first it was more Bridget who was like, I want to do this, I want to do that. And of course. So I'm a yoga teacher. And so I was always kind of like, I'm good.
Okay.
I'll just, do.
I had no idea you taught yoga too.
Yeah.
I love it.
For like 12 years. So.
Okay. Good for you.
And so it was never like, I ride, but I'll just, ride in Baja, San Felipe on the beach, and, and I'll
also
ride
a good place.
Here, right? Mm-hmm. And so it just kind of was like, well, let's get you. Do you want to race? Yeah, I want to race. Okay, let's get you ready and get you a bike. And so, so we went out to Chuckwalla in October and did my first, first time on my bike, first time on the track.
No way. How'd it go?
Scary.
Yeah. I believe you. Yeah, you go around some of those. I'm like, I think my ear is going to scrape the ground.
Scary.
Oh, my goodness.
And for sure, I got shaken up. And I'm not, it's like, they were like, well, maybe it's not for you. No, I want to do it. I just, I just have that. I have kids.
Yeah, no,
but you're in gear. You're in, you're in a safe environment. It's like, okay, what's the worst that can happen? You crash.
And you skid off. I mean, it's not, I taught to people about that, and it's very different. I mean, there's no one texting and driving on the same road as you. Right. Or leaving the winery or whatever else, it's
totally.
Skidding. I mean, I've been to the MotoGP races and seen those, and it's really scary when a guy loses it at 130 around a curve, but they skid off like a hockey puck, and then they get
back
jump
up, and they're like, fine.
Wow,
absolutely.
And the road doesn't work like that,
Totally. So you have a lot of other people.
You've been it on a big street, and it can go sideways on you fast. So.
Yeah. So it's it's coming though. April, first race.
I love it.
You should come out.
Okay. Is this Chuckwalla as well?
No, it's at Willow.
Okay. I'm not familiar with Willow, but
it's
Google probably is.
Yeah. Somewhere off the 5 and the 14 and.
Okay. Somewhere out there in California.
By Magic Mountain, somewhere in the boonies.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Should be a lot of fun.
Should be fun and windy. So we'll see. Because, we have this ongoing, like, I really want to go to Austin GP. And
yes.
Yeah. Where's my focus?
How many bottles of wine do I need to sell to get that done? But that to one, on another point, it's amazing you can do that stuff, and I talk to people who are, and obviously that, I started the show on the premise of like talking about, projects and all that.
Right.
But the other cool part obviously is the things that you're able to do.
Right. The freedom that it allows us. Absolutely.
And it's incredible, and businesses are so much work. And if no one's run one before, they like 100-hour weeks, they happen.
They happen.
They do.
They happen.
But at the same time, you can go to Austin and watch the GP race. Oh, you're there. Don't worry about it.
Who's going to watch this? My parents would be like, where are you going to Austin?
Yeah, she needs to go to Austin for the record. But
So I'm trying to do something different, actually. And the reason for going to Austin is because Mission Motorcycle
Okay.
You know, we want to do a restoration with Dad. They have a Kawasaki. I want to do the first female veteran restoration over here at our shop. So,
no kidding.
So I'm trying to do something where it's
That's
like,
really
look, we're
cool.
giving back. And, you know,
Sure.
I met Crystal at IMS in Long Beach, and we've been kind of like, so I found a female veteran group local. And
wow.
so, you know,
yeah.
Dad needs to restore bikes and hang out.
Sure. Dad, here's a job.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Well, no, but he's like, I have to go to Italy. I have to do this. And
Sure.
like, okay, give me your calendar and I'll work around you. Like, let's do this. Let's give back a little bit.
There is the retirement thing. You did mention that. You know, let the man have it. So.
But so we're just, you know,
Wow.
who knows? It could be a great opportunity just to reach out to the community, which I think is also important. You know,
Absolutely.
we do. The Kurt Caselli Foundation does their event here every year.
I saw his KTM
bikes were
in here
right
last time. Mm-hmm. That is very cool.
Yeah, and that's always been kind of a big draw for us, and you know, and for the foundation, and we've been able to do. I think last year we raised like $50,000, so it was yeah. So it's a great event for them. And
what time of year is that?
That's in June.
Okay.
Where are you coming?
On mine. It's right around my birthday.
It is summertime riding in Temecula.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not summertime riding in Arizona. So, because we have one choice in Arizona, it is point directly north and pin it.
Yeah.
So you have to get up in the mountains because it's too brutal.
It's too hot. Yeah.
Oh.
So we're looking at, I think, June 22nd. All right. It's kind of on the calendars at this point, so we'll see about that. But yeah.
Very, very, very cool. I have all the faith in the world. It's going to go well. I mean,
considering
this started making wine in a backyard and now we're here, I think you're going to be able to make it happen.
You know, it's always that fear, but I think that's what motivates us to keep going. It's like,
sure, it could all fall apart. Yeah. And how do you know, because, I mean, I've experienced that a lot in business and, you know, obviously you have, like, how do you, I mean, as a bit of a personal question, like, how do you deal with that? Do you have like a routine? I mean, do you, like, you know, pray to the motorcycle gods or stand on one foot,
to the
or
grape gods?
Also a great stress reliever.
Personally, I think everybody has their own go-to. We're all spiritual individuals in the family. I meditate.
I think that's incredible. I'm trying to learn. It's really hard.
It is really hard.
Yeah.
But I think that it depends on the style and what resonates with you.
Okay.
And then, you know, work on it. I'm a Kundalini yoga teacher, and that just from the very beginning, 12 years ago, it just sort of fell into me. You know, I had a lot of stuff happening. I lost a child, and so it was like, okay.
Sorry.
How do I find answers to what the hell just happened?
Sure.
And
that's a big thing.
Really healed me.
Did it?
And so
that's fantastic.
Yeah. And so that's where I find my peace. So it's every morning. I wake up at about 4:30, 5 a.m.
Okay. Deep respect.
Yeah.
I'm an early riser, although in California, for whatever reason, I wake up later. I don't know how that
like
is.
9.
Yeah, 8 o'clock, whatever.
Are you on vacation?
Yeah, at home. I mean, it's 0500. I'm up, but I'm impressed you can do that here. So.
You know, and then obviously my siblings they like to participate in church.
Okay.
And so they, you know, everyone I think has their way to find like peace, because it is stressful.
Sure.
It is, you know, nonstop, and we do have the weight of an entire company and all of our employees on our shoulders, and
absolutely.
And the three of us are like, we've never done this before.
I really better not screw this up.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and then obviously we get together with each other.
Sure.
And, you know,
so that family support.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of, sometimes the dialogue is not fun.
Of course.
And it is what it is. And you just keep going.
Sometimes things get said.
At the end of the day, like, you know that, like, I know that if shit goes bad, my brother's going to show up or my sister's going to show up. And that's true. I think that beauty of that is what really holds us together.
Yeah. That family bond. That's a beautiful thing. Oh, that's amazing. You guys have it.
Sometimes a little too intrusive.
And
there's blurred boundaries. You roll with it.
Absolutely. Hey, you know, everything's a trade-off, but no, that's really good. You guys are able to do that.
Can you hand me the Malbec?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This one, there's the Argentinian flag.
There it is.
So.
You want to pour?
Yeah, try some.
You can pour.
You got to talk. All right. I'll drink, you talk.
Well, we're heavily planted in Malbec.
Okay.
Being that now dubbed the Argentinian varietal. Mm-hmm. Makes sense, right?
That does make sense. That's what I'd always heard about. I don't know a lot of wine terminology.
Right. So it is a French varietal, and like I said earlier, the Argentinians have their way with things, and so
yeah, they borrowed it. For a long time.
But ours is obviously it's California. It's grown here on our property.
Oh wow, that's delicious.
Has some nice vanilla notes in there.
It does. Mm-hmm. Very cool.
I think that as Malbec became the varietal, I hear now it's Cab Franc. I was in Argentina a week ago, and everyone's like, Cab Franc, Cab Franc, Cab Franc. And so
that's the new one.
That's the new one.
Uh-huh.
And I'm hearing that a lot here, too. And
okay.
I didn't bring ours, but we produce a pretty decent Cab Franc, and it's actually one of my favorite wines.
Really? I'll have to come back and try it at some point.
Yeah.
Oh.
But the Malbec is a staple, and, any good barbecue requires a good Malbec.
Absolutely. Let me guess, your dad makes amazing barbecue as well.
You should be so lucky.
I imagine that's a pretty elite club right there. So,
in his private, what we call our quincho, which is the attachment to the house that is strictly for barbecue and eating.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Is that an Argentinian term?
It is an Argentinian term.
What is it? Quincho?
Quincho.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I learned Spanish in Spain, so some of the words from South America, they don't.
You're like, what the hell?
Like, I don't know. But
we have the same problem. When you go a little bit further north, the further north you get from Argentina, things change and
sure.
Same thing.
Well, I guess, so Argentina, and then it borders what? Paraguay, Uruguay, and then Brazil?
Paraguay and Chile.
And Chile. Okay. Mm-hmm. So there's probably some influences from all of those areas as well.
Right. So Argentina is a lot of obviously European. So you got a lot of Spanish, a lot of Italian, a lot of German.
I heard that as well. A lot of blonde-haired, blue-eyed, Spanish-speaking.
Nazi-hated.
Wow. So crazy.
And now, which is funny, so we went there and there's a lot of Asians. There's a lot of ports, and so you have a lot of Asians, and it's a trip to hear Asian people speaking Spanish with our Argentinian accent.
Oh wow! like that's good. Wait,
talk about diversity and just like
eyes
one
and my
world.
Ears are just unbelievable.
Yeah.
So really, obviously, like a giant melting pot.
Giant melting pot. Wow. Absolutely. We spent some time in a couple of the port cities, and and of course my cousins are like, oh, you don't even know, have you been to the Chinese market? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, there's Chinese markets all around. Like, I'm used to it, but they're like, no, for us it's like,
that's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Wild. Just what an experience.
It's totally different. Yeah.
How's the Chinese food? Is it good?
I didn't have any.
Really?
It's like, how do you can't. Like, I go home and it's like everybody, what's the best thing we do is feed each other.
Sure.
So
you're not going to give up dinner at the cousin's house to go eat Chinese.
No.
I can understand that.
And of course, and everyone's a chef.
I could see that. No. Absolutely. Wow.
So I was able to bring some of our wine down, and a lot of them had never, had it, and they're just excited because they're like, "That's my last name too,"
Very cool. So you're able to, and have any problems taking it down or anything like that? No?
I just checked it. I checked 12 bottles,
and that was
in a box. And
it
had been cut open. I'm not gonna lie, somewhere probably.
Well, at least it didn't turn to 11.
No, it didn't.
Shrinkage during shipping.
It arrived right.
Yeah.
And I was able to bring back some goodies. I brought, some beer and wine as well. And
very cool.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So it's cool. Yeah.
That's quite a legacy.
Like, you can't travel with alcohol. Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can.
You just have to do it right.
I learn all kinds of things every time I come to California. So, how to travel with wine. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Samantha, I can't thank you enough for having me out here.
You're welcome.
This was a really cool experience, and
Thank
obviously you guys, hat tip to your father as well. I hope I get to meet him at some point.
Just come to GP, some race.
GP.
One Sunday.
Okay, I guess we'll have to. So I'll call the motorcycle guys.
Yeah.
We'll load up and come on.
Out. Just let me know so we can make sure there's food.
Absolutely. Oh, that would be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Good deal. Well, thank you for being on as well.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you everyone
Salud.
for watching. Salud. And then before we wrap up, so where can everyone watching support you and Doffo Winery? Where can obviously by showing up here and buying wine.
Right, absolutely.
Come
but
spend money.
We can get it online. You can always DoffoWines.com.
Okay.
MotoDoffo.com is more so the story of the motorcycle. So if you really want to know the background of like each particular bike and the restoration and what went into, getting that bike. And then our father, he's been blessed to be able to go and do some amazing rides. He was in India, he was in Argentina, he does some great, cool adventure riding. And so, if there's stories on his website, because it's his baby too.
Of course.
So that's MotoDoffo.com. Okay. But the wines themselves are at Doffo Wines.
Doffo Wines. Outstanding. Everybody go check them out. And once again, thank you very much.
Salud.
Salud. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next one.